On today's Moving the Chains, we've got a great interview with the new head coach of the Wilson Tigers, Brian Wilson. He sits down with us, gives us some great insight on his thoughts on the program, plans for the program, and more.
Wilson at Wilson, man. It's going to be catchy. Looking forward to what he's going to do with the Tigers, man. This is a program that I think could be like a sleeping giant, man. Tons of athletes there, so it was a lot of fun catching up with him, and looking forward to see what happens down there in the PD region this year.
Certainly was. Hope you guys enjoy it. Here is today's Moving the Chains new hire interview coming at you. Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Calvin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview today, a very special guest, the new head coach of the Wilson Tigers, Brian Wilson. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful, doing great.
We appreciate your time. We really do. This is you guys' first time tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. Our website, movingchains.com. Our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Wilson was hired in January. He was the associate head coach in D.C. at Sumter for the past 8 seasons. Prior, he coached at Lakewood, and he played collegiately at Presbyterian College. Coach, let's start there, man. What's that transition been like, going from Sumter and assistant to now being the head man over at Wilson?
That's been fun. I'm a guy who likes challenges. Of course, every school is different, has different challenges. So it's been fun. Can't have no complaints at the moment.
Coach Wilson, let's get into the background stuff. Man, we got to know about you. So, Kevin mentioned your playing career. Tell us about that, and then obviously your coaching career. You've had a meteoric rise here to get to this point.
Well, I'm originally from Sumter. I played at Sumter High School. I was blessed with the opportunity to go on and play at Presbyterian College, which I was recruited by, I'm pretty sure everybody know Bobby Bentley, a legend in the state of South Carolina. I actually, in high school, I played linebacker and safety. So moving to college, I transitioned to playing corner. I was a 4-year starter there. I played on the other side of a lot of guys probably know Justin Bethel, who played in the NFL. He just retired not too long ago. While there, I played, like I said, 4-year starter at corner. Had a really good, fun experience at PC. Met a lot of guys that are now coaching collegiately in high school all over the country, should I say, not just the state. I can name names for days of guys I played with that are coaching now. From there, after college, I actually didn't get into coaching and teaching. Went into the workforce. So I spent about 7 or 8 years of my career working at Waffle House. So I'm familiar with the upstate. I lived in Simpsonville for a while, lived in Newberry. Actually had markets in Spartanburg and Tryon, North Carolina. So I was a guy who was traveling a lot. So I got the opportunity to move back home to Sumter and coach at Lakewood. The AD at Lakewood was my B team coach in high school. And actually the varsity defense coordinator, we played together in high school and in college. So it was an opportunity to come back home and get into coaching. So I ended up at Lakewood for a year. So I was still working at Waffle House. But I would just come after work, go to practice. And coaching was something that I always knew I wanted to do. But obviously financially, it didn't make sense. I was doing very well at Waffle House. But I got bit real hard by the bug to really get into it. So after the first year at Lakewood, I had a buddy of mine, Darren Wilson, who was coaching at South Carolina State at the time. He's now at Oklahoma. Came to practice. He was recruiting when it was at Lakewood. He said, "Hey man, I just left Sumter, and Coach Hoshire, who was my defense coordinator in high school, who's still coaching at Sumter, said he's going to reach out to you tonight about possibly coming home." So I was like, "Man," I said, "You serious?" He's like, "Yeah." So I got the phone call. Coach Hoshire kind of intrigued me about what he was saying and what Coach Barnes was and Coach Arthur were building at Sumter. So I met with Coach Barnes and Coach Arthur, who was the defense coordinator. And I was excited about the opportunity to not only get back home, but to be able to coach my kids, meaning, this is a generation of my people my age kids coming up. So it was an opportunity to coach. Hey, I played with your dad. Hey, I went to school with your mom. So it was that kind of opportunity. So my first year at Sumter, I still worked at Waffle House, which it was challenging doing both. But then, one day, and I think it was maybe after the first playoff game, I think I went in and worked, and I told my supervisor, I told my area manager, I said, "Hey, man, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore." So I think in 2 weeks I'll be done. So I kind of quit with no job in mind. I just knew I wanted to teach and coach. So I came to practice, met with the athletic director, Curtis Johnson at the time, and said, hey, man, I just quit my job. This is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach and coach from the beginning. So he came in and sat me down with Mr. Nicholas Pearson, who was the principal at the time. And he gave me an opportunity to come in and teach and coach. Then from there, after that, I was assistant wrestling coach, assistant track coach, ended up becoming the head wrestling coach for about 4 years. I stepped down from doing that. But I've been really football, wrestling, track the whole time I've been at Sumter. I was blessed to be the special teams coordinator for a while, and then ultimately got the defensive coordinator job at Sumter.
Coach, obviously going to Wilson, a big piece of that is getting the staff set up. How is that forming up? Do you have all those guys locked in or still waiting to hire a few more now?
I'm pretty set. I'm looking maybe for one more guy. I got a guy on the fence as far as trying to get him a job in the building. But I think I like the staff I put together in my first year. A couple of veteran guys, a couple of young guys. I think it's a really good group that I put together.
Coach, this is your first time kind of venturing on your own. You're the head man. You get to set the tone here, schematically especially. So what are you planning to do on the offensive side? And then on defense, I'm sure you already got a plan there. And will you call plays on that side?
Offensively, I hired a guy from West Florence and Braxton Ivory. He's a Wilson alum. He's been the office coordinator at West Florence the past 2 years. So bring him in with a little bit of my influence. My influence coming from, the Sumter tree. You're going to see some of the similar things you saw at Sumter, what you see at South Florence. Some of the similar schemes, formations, all that. But at the end of the day, Braxton Ivory's going to call offense. It's going to be what he wants, but I'm going to have a little input as far as what I want. I know what I want. I come from a smash mouth, in your face, and that's kind of what we want to get to here. You see it at South Florence. I love what Drew Marlowe does.
So you're saying you want to run the football, Coach? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to run the football. We're going to run the football. Well, we're going to throw it too, but we're going to run it. I think we're going to be trying to become physical over here. Something that they haven't done over here in a while. Defensively, starting off, I thought I was going to call the defense. Haven't done it the past two years, but I hired a guy in Jerel Devlin, also from West Florence, who I believe in. And of course, you've seen something in defense. Same philosophy, same scheme. We're going to be multiple. We're going to be fast, physical. All those things, when you think about Sumter, is what we're trying to bring here.
Coach, you've been around some fantastic coaches. You mentioned Coach Bentley and Coach Barnes, but who are some guys that, have really kind of, rubbed off on you that you kind of model your game after? Maybe even a guy in college or pros you like to just watch, but who are some guys you kind of take some influence from and kind of take some pieces from and as you put together the way that you want to be a head coach?
I think the first guy I got to throw out there is a Sumter guy, Perry Parks.
Mm-hmm.
What he was able to do at Ridgeview, coming from Lakewood, what he was able to do at Lakewood is a guy that I try to talk to often. Just his ability to get people excited about football is something that I pull from him. Drew Marlowe, I think for about past 2 years, me and Drew had talked on and off for a while. I would come down to the South Florence and sit with him and his defensive coordinator and just talk ball. He'll come up to Sumter. We sit and talk ball, just looking at what he was able to do at South Florence. And we were not 10, 15 minutes down the road from each other. So just being able to get his input on what he did and how he did things even before I even got the job which is amazing. And then I think another guy is the head coach at Crestwell High School, Roosevelt Nelson. He's a guy who's been in my corner for a while. He's a guy I was labeled as my mentor now, somewhat. A guy that I can call and ask questions, just like Coach Marlowe. I'm able to call and ask questions about anything, and we're in the same region. So with those guys even willing still to help me, that shows what kind of character they have.
Coach, you've really just leaned on your faith and your passion, learning about you here. And it's been a meteoric rise, like I mentioned, 8 years, and you're already in this position coaching at a great program like Wilson. But how did you know it was time to step out and become a head coach? How did you feel the time was right?
Honestly, I think this is year 3 of me trying. And I told myself at the beginning of the year, I said, I'm gonna give this one more year. And if it doesn't work out, then it's not meant to be. I'm gonna just focus on where I'm at. My son is a sophomore. So that was a big part of it as well, knowing that I wanted him to be in the same place to finish out high school, which that's why I felt like this would be the last year. But I knew I was ready when talking to other coaches, meeting with Coach Marlowe a lot. And one thing I learned from my Waffle House career, being in the business world, is no one's ever ready for the opportunity when it comes. So the best experience is actually going through it. And then coming from my background at Waffle House, leadership is what I am, who I am. Being a head coach is all about leadership. It's about growing other people. It's not about you. And when I realized that it was always bigger than me, I knew it was the right timing. But like I said, for the past 3 years, I've been trying and reaching out and had interviews here and there. Got a lot of great feedback. But, I mean, it's all on God's timing. And this is, I guess, the perfect time. I think it's the perfect place at the right time. So it's all come together at the right time, I think.
Growing up in the area, Coach, I know that Wilson has always had tons of athletes. Who are some guys coming back for this year that could be special players that we should be on the lookout for? A couple guys who may be breakout stars for you here in 2025.
Oh, man, that's a great question. I think this is a different place, meaning kids here play multiple sports. So you don't get to be around them. I don't get to be around them as much. I mean, I have them, most of them in the weight room, but I probably have 50% of the team in the weight room. So that's kind of, I want to say a difficult question, but it's kind of weird to answer at this time because coming from something, we're about physicality. Everybody looks good in shorts. Everybody looks good in the weight room. So we'll know more in March. But I think a couple guys that I'm excited about is Michael McWhite, seeing what he can do. He's a guy who's very strong, who's worked his tail off in the weight room. Ahmad Pagan, who's a freshman. Offensive lineman. I'm excited to see what he does. Zion Mack is a kid I think is a Division I kid. It's about 6'3", 180 pounds. Has got really strong in the weight room. I'm excited to see what he does offensively and defensively. Then of course, with me moving my family here, my son will be here. So he's a guy who started last year at Sumter. He played varsity as a freshman. So just to give him the opportunity to not only just play defense now, to actually go back to playing offense, which he wants to play offense. He doesn't want to play defense. So just give him the opportunity to put the ball in his hand and see what he can do. Tristan Howard, I think I'm going to have really three good quarterbacks. We're going to have a quarterback battle here. Tristan Howard, Tamari Echoes, and Rashawn Wilson. All three guys I'm excited about seeing what they do. Not only can they play quarterback, I think they can go play other positions as well. But the list can go on and on and on and on and on. But I would say the kid that excites me the most, he reminds me of some of the guys. That's something D-line. Jabron McFadden. He's a freshman D-lineman. He's about 6'4", about 220, 230. When we think about Sumter in defense, we think about that front four, that front three, that secondary. And I think he fits that mold up front. And then, of course, my son coming from Sumter playing in the secondary, he kind of fits the mold of when you think about what a Sumter defense is.
As we record this, we're about 2 weeks out from spring ball. What are you looking to accomplish, as you get into spring practice and kind of set the tone, going into that offseason preparation?
Continue to create a culture of winning and finishing. I think when you go look at the scores of Wilson last year and you actually deep dive into the film, they're in most of the games but three. So just teaching them how to finish, meaning you look at them, first half is close games. The second half, then it starts to pull away. So just teaching them how to finish, and it starts in the weight room. That's something that I think we lacked over here a lot. We actually just started maxing this week. And just to see guys go up 30, 40 pounds on power clean, to me, it shows that it's a lot of growth here. But just the physical, mental aspect of winning, what a winning culture is. Every sport has won here but football for a while. So just teaching them what winning is and what a winning culture looks like.
When we finish spring practice, Coach, we roll right into 7-on-7. As a defensive guy, do you like that stuff? How do you feel about it? And also, have you gotten big into the 11-on-11 now that that's legal in the state as well?
Yes, we're going to do both. Being a defensive guy, do I like 7-on-7? No, but it's needed. Especially a guy who likes his corners, the press and play man. I think it's a great opportunity to get your guys against better competition consistently to get better. And then 11-on-11s, yes, I'm all for it. I'm excited about seeing how that works. That's something that we didn't do at Sumter, but I'm excited to see what it holds.
Coach, this is a program that, you mentioned it. They weren't able to finish a lot of games, but just as of late, a lot of turmoil, a lot of coaching turnover, a lot that they've gone through, just haven't had a lot of success, but have all the tools, as Kevin mentioned earlier, just athletes for days. And then around you, the programs have been really, really successful. What is one thing you kind of looked at? I think you've alluded to it, especially with the weight room talk, but what is one thing or two things that you really pinpointed changing when you became the head coach?
The first thing was showing the kids that I was committed to being here. I think anybody would tell you when you go through as many head coaches as they went through in a short period of time, like these kids don't know who to trust. And that's something that, when I was talking at first, it's like, yeah, coach, I hear you. Like, when are you leaving?
Yeah, sure.
So it got to the point now, I think they realize I'm here for the long haul. I think I have a great rapport with my kids. So I think that was one thing. And the next thing, like I said, just physicality. I think in order to play physical, you got to be strong enough. And that's something that we've lacked over here from what I've seen, what I've heard. Kids don't like me in the weight room right now. And that's a good thing. Like a good buddy of mine is a strength coach at South Florence, Sean Armstrong. The one thing we talked about was, changing the culture. Like everybody's not going to buy in. This bus is going to get on the road and it's going to head forward. And some guys going to get left off the bus. And I understand that concept. However, I'm going to push kids to be the best that they can, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like in the weight room now, we start every day in the sand pit. Yeah. Every day we go straight to the sand pit for 10, 15 minutes, and then we go straight to the weight room. I want them exhausted and tired before they get in there. We have to learn to be mentally tough and finish.
You mentioned, you've tried to become a head coach the past couple of years and even this year as well. And when the Wilson job, came open, what was it that really excited you about that opportunity and you made it be a program like, hey, I could really succeed here and want to kind of get in the doors here at Wilson?
Well, I got a couple answers for that. I'm a YouTube junkie, like I told you earlier. So after Friday nights, most guys would, probably go home, go to sleep, go out, whatever. I head to the gym for about 30 minutes, to decompress. Then I get on YouTube. So I would watch all the programs around the state. Wilson was one that I watched in particular because maybe Coach Mooney's first year I actually took the defensive coordinator job for about a week. So I came to spring practice for about a week, and I walked around. And I was looking like these kids look like something, like just athletically big, everything you would think of something. I was like, this place can be something very special. But unfortunately, I ended up going back to Sumter. So it's a program I kept my eye on. But you look at what Dr. O'Malley has done with Florence schools, facilities-wise. I think it's second to none. I look at what Coach Marlowe did at South Florence. Look at what Coach Jerel did at West Florence. They're winning here, everywhere else but here. They have all the necessary tools to be successful. And then the support of the alumni base is a lot different here than any place I've ever been to or thought about or talked about. Just their support and wanting to win would intrigue me about this program the most.
Put Founders in the game and win big with our great rates. Whether you're looking for a loan or want to grow your money with a certificate, Founders Federal Credit Union can help you move the chains on your financial goals. Not a member? No problem. Visit foundersfcu.com to see if you qualify. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Got a couple easier ones here for you, Coach, before we let you go today. Maybe it's on the bus ride on Fridays to a game, maybe in your home office for a home ball game. But what's on your pregame playlist as you get ready to hit the field there?
Oh man, if it has to pick one, it's kind of difficult. I think I'm a little new and old. I think newer, a little bit NBA young boy, a little rack baby like these young guys like. Okay. But me personally, I got to go old school, Pastor Troy.
Okay,
I got to go back to my playing days to get myself psyched and ready. But yeah, Pastor Troy for sure.
Oh, never can go wrong with the DSGB to get going, man. I love that. Surprised me with the young boy there. That's one of the first ones we've heard here. But, Coach, you beam up every time you talk about him. You've mentioned him multiple times throughout this interview. And you should, your namesake, your son, getting the opportunity to coach him his last 2 years at the high school. Those are the cool stories that we get to talk about on this show. How cool and special is that for you to be able to coach him and develop him, each and every day and spend a lot of time with him, as he goes through these last 2 seasons.
Oh man, words cannot explain. I think the first 2 years, he kind of hated me in a sense because I used to tell him every day, "You just like your daddy. You lazy.
Yeah,
you're lazy. You're not working hard. You're not doing what you're supposed to do." But then he gets it. I think he gets it now. He got hurt the last week of the season, right before the playoffs. So he's been out up until about now. So he's missed wrestling. He's missed track. I mean, he's a national guy who runs and jumps track naturally. He's a wrestler that placed in middle school. So him missing all this time, I think he's learned and matured and understand what I am telling him, why I'm so hard on him, because he has the potential to be way better than I ever was. It's not even close. Athletically, he has it. He's bigger than me. He may be this year stronger than I was in college if he continues to work. But just the opportunity to spend time with him and watch him grow, I think it's something special. I think a lot of guys may not have the opportunity to coach their kid. And it's something that, at first I wasn't too sure about. I actually thought about sending him to another high school at first because I didn't want the burden to put too much pressure on him. Even, when he was in middle school, I used to take him to 707 camps with us, or I go back to PC, and the amount of people that he would see, be like, "Man, Dad, you know everybody." I said, no, I don't know everybody, but I know a few people, and it kind of the pressure I didn't want on him. But I think now he's embraced it. I think he wants the pressure on him. Like one thing we argued about last year was he wanted to play a lot more press man, and I wouldn't let him. Like I told him, I said, it's easy for you to do that. Like, learn how to do something else. But the pressure of him wanting to be on the island, him wanting the pressure to be successful, like I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. The kid is, in my eyes, special, and that's me being unbiased. He's a 10-8 track kid. He's a 21 long jumper. And this is from 9th grade. He hasn't even had the opportunity to do it this year. So I think the ceiling is very high for him, but it's exciting for not only me, him, his brother, his sister, my wife, just the whole family, just to see how dynamic. I think our relationship has grown a lot over the last year, but I'm excited about it.
Coach, you better hang on to him. I know Coach Wilkes, they listen to this show. You mentioned Coach Marlowe there. They'll scoop him up, so you better calm down and leave him on the squad.
Coach Marlowe might have a chance to get him now. I think he's a fan of what Coach Marlowe's doing over there. So.
Oh, Coach. Well, if me and Jerel are hopping in the car on a Friday coming down to a ball game and we need to get a pregame meal in Florence, what's your kind of go-to spots we should check out when we're down there in the area?
Oh, man, y'all sound like me. I love to eat, too. I think I'm blessed. They have a lot of mom and pop stores that's right here next to the school. So first place I would say is Northside Seafood. I love seafood. So I love a little fried brim. Those little French fries. So I think that would be the first spot I would take to stop at.
Perfect.
Well, Coach, let's put a bow on this one. It's a great interview, great catching up with you. I know you're going into spring ball, as we mentioned earlier, but what are some of the goals that you have for the 2025 version of the Wilson Tigers?
Learn how to win. And winning for us means, what is important now. I think that's something that we as coaches, we as people, them as young adults, they don't understand the importance of now. They trying to worry about longevity. We worry about what's important now. So that's the biggest thing is learning how to win. And that's, again, what is important now. And building better human beings. If we become better people, more disciplined, more hardworking, more this and that, the winning will take care of itself. I think everyone goes every year to win a state championship. But also I think we have to break that down into smaller goals and decide what does it take to win a state championship. And I think that's what it takes. It takes winning. What's important now, figure out what's important to us right now.
Well, this has been great. I want everyone to go check out Coach Wilson and the Tigers program on social media. They do a great job posting updates on their kids and their programs. Definitely follow them on there. Like I mentioned, follow us on all social media, our website, movingchains.com, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Jerel, anything else for Coach? We'll let him go today.
Well, Coach, thank you so much, first of all, for your time, and joining us. We really appreciate you doing that and giving us insight on your program and what you plan to do, man. We'll certainly be following you. We wish you success. We wish you, health, obviously, through the spring and summer as you guys prepare for the season. And just looking forward to what you're able to accomplish this year and in the coming years.
I appreciate it, guys. It was fun.
We appreciate you, Coach. Look forward to stopping by a practice or a game and getting to meet you here in person pretty soon. And best of luck this season, all right?
Thank you.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com.